Hi everybody, it's Carla from Casey Creates. I have fairy wall hangings I've been creating in the last few days. Evie followed you, I think it is. She has a challenge going where she's asked us to create a fairy wall hanging, and because I got so excited to be in her challenge, I got carried away with the wall hangings. I ended up making 4 of them. I make fairy houses out of clay. I have a video of one, and I've always loved fairies and the idea of the woods being enchanted, and so I got really involved, and I want to show you my wall hangings. So the first one is mounted on a full-size vintage doily, and I tea-dyed it. I'm sorry that I'm working with a new webcam and the coloring is off and there are some glitches, so I hope this goes okay. But that's the back. This is the front, and it's basically just layers of lace and applique. I did a lot of dyeing. I had some Rit dye that I dunked different things in and got different shades of green depending on the fabric and how long I left it in. And so these I cut out of a blouse, and these little leaves I also cut out of a blouse. Some of them were this color when I started, and this is like a deep hunter green now. This was actual the ruffle off of a skirt, but that was the actual color, so I didn't have to dye that. So forgive my fingers if they have a bit of a green hue. But I really got all into every detail, including dyeing the fabric. So if you can see, this image is of a tree house, and it's glowing because the fairies are inside, glistening and lighting up the enchanted treehouse. So absolutely love this image. I cut the flowers out of a sweater, I think, a crochet knit sweater, and used them as the foliage of the tree. And then everything else is in the round. And there's a bow here, and then there's like an iridescent bead. And I'm sorry it's not perfectly focused. This is an organza flower that I layered. So there's lots of layering of leaves, and there's a few little, I don't know if you can see that, little curly cues. There's one, there's one, and then these are acrylic little flowers that I put to add a little bit of glisten, because I always think of fairies as glistening and, you know, flying by and leaving glitter dust, and or fairy dust, I think that's what we called it. So this is my enchanted treehouse fairy hanging, wall hanging. And then I have another one that's similar. It's round, and it's on the full-size vintage doily, and this is the linen middle of the doily, and I put a hanger, just a ribbon hanger, and all of this is glued with either fabric glue. The gems are glued on with hot glue. And this is the front, and I really love this image. She's just gazing up, and I'm gonna say she's gazing up at the butterfly, but I put a few dangles, and the dangles came off of a sweater, I believe, or maybe a scarf. And then I created a fabric flower. This is satin, and I just did that method where you layer and melt the edges. Well, you melt the edges and then layer them, and then put a little bling in the middle. And then again, these are just leaves and flowers that I cut out of a crochet knit sweater. And then this is one of those butterflies that you can kind of bend. It's wired. And yeah, so this is my gazing fairy in the forest. I think it's awesome. I love this picture. I guess I'm bragging on my own work saying I think it's awesome, but what I'm meaning is just the thought of a fairy gazing up at the butterfly in the woods. So there's this one. And then my next one, I call it the Secret Fairy Garden. And this one is again mounted on an antique doily, and it's a rectangle one. And again, I tea dyed it, and this is the back. and I put a hanger right here. And then the front is a tree that I kind of shaped out of fabric. And there are different layers and embellishments to give it some sparkle. There is a little window here, and all of this is laid on top of a piece of fabric that is a sequined piece of fabric so that it'll give off a little bit of glitter. And it's not totally in frame here, but if you can look really close, you will see the fairies hiding over on the side here. They're right here. She's kind of up close, and then she's further back. Let's see if I can get that to focus. I'm sorry, this webcam is new to me, and this focus thing is a little frustrating. Anyway, the branches that I cut out of fabric are kind of the little whimsical girls. There's one, and there's one, and there's one. And then again, it's just a bunch of layers of applique. The tree foliage on this one is cream and brown flowers that I cut out of fabric. This is a little bit of bridal applique, and they have iridescent sequins so that they will glow a little bit. So these are more whimsical and fun and meant to be a little bit glittery. I'm going to turn it this way so that maybe you can see the full size of it. And then turn it back this way, which is the way it goes. But if you can see, it has also tiny little butterflies. And I cut these out. They were two little like teardrop shapes, and I glued them together so that they would resemble the wings of a butterfly. So there's all little hidden things that I would hope that if somebody got it, they would just spend a lot of time looking for things that you didn't notice. Some acrylic flowers there, beads. So there's that one. And then there's one more, and this one is really colorful, so prepare yourself. The back is just, these are the dangles at the bottom, and this is the color that I went with because it's a lavender lace. And then this I just outlined with trim, lace trim. And then this is the front. And the reason I chose these colors is because of the image. So I'll show you the image first. And again, she's gazing up. So I tried to make it look, let me see if I can, hold on one second. I'll get rid of the dangles for a second. So she's gazing up at, I made it seem like she's gazing here at the butterfly. Can you see that? And then I made a lace butterfly here. Made my own little lace embellishment butterfly. And then I just did lots and lots of lavender, blue, and purple flowers and appliques. This is a chiffon flower. This is a chiffon flower with a bunch of applique. And then this is the dangle that I put on the bottom, which is lots of seam binding and lace and ribbon. And there's some pearl beading, and there's some embroidery flowers kind of hanging out there. So I'm going to get a better handle on how to maneuver this webcam, or I'll be going back to my iPhone real quick because I'd rather give you a quality video. So anyway, this is my my other fairy wall hanging. I don't know which one to send you, Evie. If you're watching this and you see one you like, maybe you can let me know which one you prefer. Oh, it's upside down. Is it? Oh, you guys, this is crazy. Anyway, thanks for bearing with me. I thought I'd show them to you again. And get on with creating something else. So Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching and seeing the whimsical fairy wall hangings I've created. And I'd love your comments and feedback if you have any. And I'll be back again with another video. Have a good night.